Let me just recap the 4 models. Does anybody remember the 4 models?
Economic.
Yeah. Economic.
I can't remember it in order, but organizational.
Organizational. Yeah. Org model is the 4th. Okay. What else?
Just read the dang book.
Budget.
The budget.
Come on, Warren.
Lead
Let's
gen.
get-
Yeah.
What is it?
Lead gen.
Lead gen model. Okay, cool. Okay, so
Giving other
here's,
people a chance. Okay.
here's why this is important is the economic model, which I don't like the term, I don't love the term economic model because I think what it implies is the wrong thing. Because what is the economic model actually setting us up for?
An understanding
Understanding of?
what you need to do to hit your goals.
Exactly.
How do you money?
Well, that's more the budget, in my opinion, is kind of the budget. The economic model is how big does the business need to look or be in order to achieve your goals. So I'm just going to take a step back here and think about like if you were going to start up a small retail shop, right? Like you're going to make a muffin shop, right? So if you're going to make a muffin shop and you knew that the muffin shop was going to have to, you're going to have certain expenses, right? So what expenses would you have if you're going to open a muffin shop?
Flour and non-GM and
Non-GMO. Yeah, so your exclusive flour, your food costs, right? What else?
Rent, equipment.
Rent, equipment, fixtures, furniture, lease, right? Lights.
Employees.
So, what'd you say?
Employees.
Employees, yeah, right? That's a big one. So that's gonna run you a rough budget, right? From that, you're gonna have to figure out what your fixed costs are and what your variable costs are. So your variable costs could be food costs is a variable cost. So it depends on how many muffins you sell, right? Employees could be considered a variable depending on busy times, slow times. That's what the economic model does. It builds out what does the business need to look like for you to achieve your goals. So if your goal was to sell, let's say your goal is to sell 3,000 muffins a month. Is that going to look different if for the business next to you, or let's say the business across town that's selling 10,000 muffins a month, right? The business would look different, and all of these things would look different. So the economic model is what's going to determine how many leads you need to have. Is that fair? And then that is going to also determine, the economic model also determines what the budget's going to look like. Because if you're selling 10,000 muffins a month, your costs are going to be different. You're going to have higher labor, you're going to have higher food costs. Now your lease rate might be the same, but maybe not. Maybe you have to add more chairs, more furniture. And then the economic model also dictates your organizational model. So if you're selling 10,000 muffins a month, you're going to have probably a lot more employees. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Now, it also determines what activities have to be done to achieve the number of leads, right? So if you had 2 different business people, and Derek is my one business person and Nick's my other, and Derek says I only want to sell $3,000 worth of muffins a month, and Nick says I want to sell $10,000 of muffins a month, right? You would have different economic plans, but you would mainly have a very big, very different lead generation strategy. Okay? Yes?
Unless you raise the value proposition per muffin and sold the same amount of muffins.
Interesting.
It is Colorado.
However, it would still change your lead generation model because
Yes.
your cost for marketing would be different, because your demographic would be different. Your location might be different.
Lots of, yeah.
Yeah,
Marketing would be very.
So it's still kind of the same, right? Because your value that you're selling at is your economic model, is where your value is. So last month, this is where I made the mistake. As I asked you guys to work through your economic model, and some people worked it through at like, $300,000, which sounds great. $300,000 is a lot of money if you're a practice, right? If you're, remember the 4 quadrants when we talked about the 4 quadrants from the cash flow quadrant? We talked about that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Remember the 4 quadrants? So quadrant 1, okay, so if you divide this is this is money does not equal time. And this one is money equals time. So on this side of the quadrant is employee, right? So they work for a paycheck. I'm going to give you $1 worth of work for $1 worth of time, right? If you're not going to pay me $1, I'm not guaranteed to get $1. I'm not going to do the work, right? So employee is literally $1 per hour, right? And then you have down here, you have, I'm going to just call it practitioner. This could be a chiropractor, a doctor, a real estate agent, a plumber. They're specifically good at what they do. And yes, if they get really good and they get specialized, they're going to make more money. But if they stop working, they make no money, right? So this is dollar equals result, right? Somebody's buying a result from them, right? I want something. I go to a chiropractor because I want my back popped, right? I'm not going there to hang out with them for 2 hours and paying him $10 an hour. I'm in and out in 4.5 minutes, and I pay $75 for 4.5 minutes worth of time.
You should go to the joint.
Yeah, I do, but they're weird. It's like,
Yeah, but it's
you get the
so-
sweaty guy sometimes.
so
Sometimes, yeah,
affordable.
it is affordable because you get sweaty guys sometimes.
Get what you pay for.
Okay, we're not here selling the joint
Right,
here,
it's
but this is the same with a real estate agent, right? Real estate agents live in this practitioner world, right? Then over here we switch to business owner. Okay, and that's what we're talking about in this class. This class is about building businesses, right? So when we talk about team building clinic, it's just building business. That's all we're doing is building a business. So businesses are our process, our processes. That's what's unique to us about the way we do things. So this is what's going to differentiate your business from somebody else's. Is Rudy's process is going to be different than Kevin's process, right? And so your value proposition is going to look different with your business versus Kevin, even though you're in the same industry, right? So process, systems, or this could be tools. So this could be technology. This could be resources that are available to you. It could even be different load products, right? And then the last one is the people, right? So we're leveraging through process, systems, and people, right? Not our time. Our time is no longer a factor here because the business can operate without us, right? Does anybody here own a business other than real estate that operates without you? Yeah, so if it doesn't operate without you, it's here, right? Like I'm getting ready to buy a gym. I will never be there. Never be there, right? I'm gonna lead the gym, but I'm not gonna work in the gym. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So that's a business that operates off this. So that's what we're looking to achieve by following these. Now in real estate, the thing is oftentimes we step in as an employee, we have a role as the owner, and we have a role as the lead listing agent or the lead salesperson in our business. So we're both the owner and an employee in our real estate businesses, okay? And then down here is investor, right? So an investor invests their money to make more money, right? So I'm gonna put in $1, and my expectation is this dollar brings back more dollars consistently for me over time, okay? So we're gonna go from, we're talking about moving from practitioner to business owner in this group. So here's why this is important, and this is the mistake I made last week. Last month, I said, write down what your goal number is, and people wrote down 300,000, and then we re-engineered it from there. The problem with 300,000 is it's not big enough to support a business. It's big enough to support a practice. But how do you get great processes, great systems and tools, and great people that are going to operate your business if your gross revenue is 300,000. It's not big enough. So then I asked myself after I left, I was like, what did I miss in the conversation? And here's what I missed, is when we're thinking about things from the bottom up, we always think about the work ahead, right? It's like, oh, there's a lot of work to build that up. And who was in Brian's talks this week? Okay, remember the bridge versus the log conversation?
Yep.
Oh my gosh. That haunted me. I dreamt about it. Because Brian and I got into this banter, and I was saying the key is you want to build a bridge over the river. And the bridge has to support anything that's going to cross it. Like if you think about like the Golden Gate Bridge, which was built what? Almost 100 years ago now, right? That thing's old. Imagine had they built it to only withstand the weight of the vehicles that were around at that time, right? They didn't consider the amount of traffic at that time. They said, oh, we just need enough to get across the bay. But they thought bigger than that. They thought, no, this bridge needs to last 200, 300 years. So they overbuilt it, right? They planned ahead and they engineered it with the end in mind. They engineered it with the end in mind. They engineered it with the end in mind. That's the economic model. What we did last month, the mistake that we made, is we didn't set it up that way. We thought about where we are today and where do we want to be in a year versus where are we today, where can we be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Okay? So what I'd like to do is I want you to think about this, and I don't want us to go back through the exercise individually, but I want you to think about this with your business, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just quickly reverse engineer this. Do you have your numbers in front of you still? Those numbers that we wrote down the other day?
Sure.
Will you do this with me? Because we just did this exercise. Okay. So Glenda's goal is what?
To net $1 million in a year.
Net $1 million in a year. Okay. So in order to achieve that, we're going to walk through this organizational model. Now, a lot of people are thinking, wow, that's pretty crazy. Now let's layer this one more layer. Can I use you an example?
Let's dig
Okay.
in.
So how long have you been in the area?
A year?
A year. How many homes have you sold in the Front Range?
0.
Okay. Yeah, her goal, $1 million net in a year. Do you have any doubt you're going to achieve that?
0.
Get it? She's focused on the end result. Now, do you believe that you're going to come across challenges?
Sure.
Yeah,
That's the fun.
of course, we're going to come across challenges. Do you think that it's going to be difficult to find the leads at times?
No.
No?
No.
Well, we might be. Okay, fair enough. No. Okay, so in order...
We've already got a deal going on over here.
Yeah, that's awesome. So in order to figure this out, we had to... Oops, I did this backwards.
But it also, like the last year, I haven't been
Yeah.
actively doing anything, so it's not like
Yeah.
I've been trying for a year now.
Yeah, and you have certain skills that you're bringing to the table that's going to give you an advantage in the market. But in order to achieve this, we had to figure out what your average percentage of commission is going to be and what your average sales price is. Okay? So what did that give us as our average commission?
$25,000.
$25,000. Okay, is her average commission.
So 65. Sorry.
Yeah, so what's the gross commission then? Was 2.4?
So 63.6.
Wasn't it 2.4 was the gross commission to net $1 million? I think it was something like that.
63.6 times 25,000 equals 1.59.
1.59. Okay, so 1.59 gross, net $1 million, 25,000 average transactions. How many transactions?
63.6.
64. 4. Okay.
A year?
A year.
So,
at $25,000.
so close 40 a month to net.
40.
No.
No.
Let's keep going.
Okay. So, all right. So this is the number that we have to focus on now.
This is your goal this year.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, 64 transactions. How many appointments? Now these are all listings, by the way. She's not focusing at all on buyers. She wants to focus mainly on listings. Now, what do we know if we focus on listings? What do we automatically get? We get buyers. So if she achieves this, is it fair to say when she achieves this, that is fair to say she's going to do more than? Yeah. Because even if all her buyers are referred off, it's just going to make more money, right? And then that goes back into marketing dollars, those kind of things. All right. So 64 transactions. How many listing appointments?
10.6 a month.
10.6 a month. How many is that a year? Times 12 is 120.
124.
Got Rain Man over there. Good job. Definitely. Okay. So
127.
Oh, see, I was wrong. I'm just a
Kevin.
I'm just a drizzle man.
get your calculator. You're as bad as I am. Okay. So 127 appointments, and then how many leads to get appointments? How many leads?
Leads for
I don't
About
think
30 to
10 leads
divided by 12. or-
we got that far.
It's about 30 to 50.
Depends on where the leads are coming from.
Right.
Yeah, I think it depends on the intent of the lead,
Yeah.
right?
The
Because
funnel.
the funnel. Yeah, where are they coming in at the funnel? At the top of the funnel is low intent, right? Like bottom of the funnel is high intent. So meaning high. So are you guys familiar when I'm talking about the funnel? Okay. So it depends where in the funnel. I would use an average of about 25 to 30 leads because the way that we are discussing her marketing plan is going to be more high intent. They're going to be calling because they're looking for an agent. That would be high intent. I'm thinking about selling. I'm interviewing 5 agents. I'd like to interview you. That's going to be a high intent lead versus I clicked on an ad on Facebook. I might be moving to Miami, Florida someday in my life. Right? That's a low intent lead. Is that fair? So let's do 127 times, let's do 30.
Across the board, 5% would be average. 5% conversion.
3810.
What?
3,810.
3,810. So the point Nick made is conversion on leads is 5%. The challenge with that statistic is based on the type of marketing you're doing, because a lead is if you're doing direct mail, right? Direct response marketing, it would be much higher than 5% because the lead is reaching out.
Face to face is going to always get better results than a wide broadcast like that.
Yeah, so face to face is going to get a better result, better than a wide broadcast. However, what's the challenge with face to face in this model?
Ties.
Yeah, how are you going to do 3,810 face to face lead generating? That's going to be lit. So this is why your economic model determines your lead generation and determines your order model. So to achieve this, to achieve 3,810 leads, what do you think her marketing budget's going to look like? It's going to be big. You're going to be reinvesting a nice chunk of money out of your commission each month back in. Now, you guys know, like I was running the Colorado region for one of the largest real estate teams in the nation. Literally, I think they're the number 5 largest real estate team in the nation. They did $38 million in commission income last year. Their net profit was about $6 million. Who could live well on $6 million? Okay.
Good start.
What percentage do you think they're spending on marketing? Of that $38 million, what percentage do you think is going to marketing? 20%. 40. Probably somewhere, I don't know the answer. I wish I did. I'm guessing it's probably 30 to 40% is going just into marketing. But their high intent leads, conversion was 50% on appointments, or you got fired from the team. If you couldn't convert at 50%, you got fired. And their fees were high because all the standards of professionalism were there to support that. Okay, now how many of you would say, I wouldn't trade $38 million for $6 million?
Say it again.
Who wouldn't risk $38 million to make $6 million? Because that's what they're doing. They're risking, well, at least $32 million to make $6 million. Think about it this way. Their gross commission income was $38 million. Their profit is $6 million.
They're not risking it, they're investing it. It's not like it's a gambling.
And they're only investing $3 million a month, so they can change it whenever it didn't produce.
What's the biggest challenge that most real estate agents have? What's their biggest challenge? I brought this up in the Brian talks.
There's not enough leads.
Not thinking
Not
forward.
thinking.
Not
Discipline.
thinking
Not
ahead.
Not thinking big
Not
enough.
starting here and working down.
Tyson said not enough leads, not starting big, not thinking down. They're not marketing. They're not spending enough money on marketing. What business operates without a marketing budget?
This one?
This one. Yeah. How's that working for you? Are you getting tired?
No, but I'm not getting enough business.
No, I'm not getting enough. That's the challenge. You're either going to get burnt out or you're not going to get any business, right? You can't do 3,810 door knocks and face to face. It's literally there's no way. Like, that would be brutal. And at least if you could do it, you couldn't do it consistently. So a marketing budget is what's going to go here, right? What does that marketing budget look like in order to achieve 3,810 leads, right? Or what's 3,810 divided by 12?
318.
318. So that's a month, right? And these are high intent leads. What's 127 divided by 12 again?
10.7.
10,
11,
10?
11 a month, you have to go in one extra.
Yeah, 11. Now, is 11 appointments a month doable for one person?
Yep.
Oh, all day long. All day. If you have a marketing person setting up your, somebody pulling your CMAs, doing your listing presentations, handing you the file, and you're just going out on the appointment, yeah, all day long. And then it sets you up for your listings, and then your listings get listed, marketed. You got to price them right. You got to negotiate correctly and get them closed, and then you're on track to make $1 million.
Is that 318 new leads every month? Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, so then every year I'm bringing in 3,800 new leads.
Yep, got to keep that funnel moving.
Okay.
But your business is increasing because you nurtured the 3,810 and they're cycling through and you're getting more.
Yep.
Right. 'cause
Right, well, something like 10% of those is moving down the funnel each time, right? Getting
Right, because
people.
remember we talk about not met, which is our geographic or demographic marketing pool. It's who do we want to work with is our not met.
Farm.
It's a targeted audience. Yeah. So a geographic would be a farm area. A demographic could be luxury homeowners, right? So they could be outside, like a geographic would be like, I market to these 500 homes. Okay, thanks, Derek.
Hey there.
I market to these 500 homes repeatedly, and I door knock them, and I'm doing events inside this category. That would be a geographic. A demographic is if your home is worth $2 million or higher, I am in your face, right? That's a demographic. So that's your not met. This is your Mets. So Mets mean they reached out, talked to you, engaged, came to an event. They did something where they raised their hand. Low intent would be they went to your website. We had this conversation. They go to your website and download a 10 steps to sell you to prepare your house for sale. That would be a low intent lead on a luxury lead. High intent is a call. Hey, I'm interviewing 3 agents. I'd like you to be one of those agents I interview. That make sense? Either way, you need 318 of those a month. Does that make sense? Now, when we break it down like this, do we think that making $1 million net is achievable now?
Sure.
No. We got to solve that, but that's solvable, right? Are there people getting 318 leads a month?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. It's okay.
Excuse my French.
I don't know.
Okay, I got excited.
Because you're like, tell me, share. Why'd you get excited?
Well, just for the open house that I got, I'm already under contract. I'm still receiving leads through Facebook. I'm already at 20 plus the people that came to the open house. Like out of that open house, I think I have like 35 leads.
Nice.
Out of those 35, 8 are actually like legit.
Yeah.
So and the other ones are, I mean, long term, but they're still leads.
That's great, so 10 open houses a month, if you get 35 leads each open house, boom, you just spent your.
Exactly. Depending on the location, your target audience, and like it's.
That's Julie Wines' whole business model is
Open houses.
open houses.
Yeah.
At a high level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she does them right. She
Yeah.
does them right.
And she's pretty close to this number, right? So, okay, is this good? I'm gonna erase this because we're gonna move to the lead gen model. Now that we have this number, because until you have this number, this doesn't matter. Okay, let me say that again. Until you have this number, the lead gen model doesn't matter, right?
Because it doesn't make sense without the economic.
You gotta start with the end in mind.
Step by step.
Until you know how many leads you need,
Oh,
the lead
right.
generation model doesn't matter.
That's right.
The mistake people make, it's just like this class I'm teaching between 12 and 1. It's throwing the log in the river, like Brian said. I said, let's build a bridge, Brian. And Brian goes, let's just throw a log in the river. What's that log gonna do?
Float away.
It's gonna float away!
It gets washed out every spring.
I'm like, this is horrible
You start
advice.
over.
This is horrible advice. We're not throwing a log in the river. Okay, so we write down 3810, so we have that number, because we need that number. Everything is determined by that number. All our results. By the way, I have worksheets for you guys with this stuff. I don't want you to focus on the worksheets yet because I have some stuff I want to get through. But this is your homework to relook at that. Okay?
Yay, homework.
Homework.
I love it.
What if you do? You're like, you totally texting me.
Maybe
She's
I
like,
should cry.
how do you do this? How do you solve that? I'm like, jeez. Okay, so the lead gen model.
Leads.
Okay.
20%.
Are you doing buyers only?
Yeah. Oh no, I do all, but I can take your buyers.
Okay.
That was awesome. That was awesome. He says, I'll take your buyers.
I'll take your
Because you're
list.
generating listings. I'll take your buyers.
Yeah.
Okay, so how many leads?
You just reduce your number of leads you need.
How many leads?
38.
38. 3810. I'm gonna put leads a year. Okay. Now, we want to come up with 3 separate ways that we can generate 3,810 leads in 1 year. 3 redundant ways. Why do we want redundancy?
Because you can scale something up quicker if it's redundant and it's just rote.
Yeah, you can scale quicker if it's redundant. That's one reason. What's another reason we want three ways?
It's automatic.
You'll see if one works better than the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, once. Trust me, you come up with 3 things that you're executing on, 2 of them aren't going to work that great. In all real estate business, in any business, there's one successful lead pillar and multiple supporting pillars. But there's one way that they're known for generating their business, and then they have multiple pillars to support that. Is that fair to say? So the reason we're going to create redundancy is we're just saying from the beginning, we don't know the answer of what's going to work. That's what we're saying. We're humble. Saying we don't know what's going to generate 3,810 leads. However, we're going to figure it out, and we're going to start with our 3 best strategies to come up with that. Okay? So what's one strategy that by itself, if it was executed at a high level, would generate 3,810 leads that generate $25,000 commission? Because again, it's not just anybody, right? It's a specific demographic that's gonna be $25,000 commissions. So we're,
What was your name?
Albanco, Rudy.
Well, it sounds like Rudy has a great strategy.
what did Rudy say?
Open houses.
Open houses. So open houses to generate 3,810 leads. These are gonna be awesome. Let's
Open
strategize.
houses in the right neighborhood.
Okay.
Demographic, right? Yeah.
Okay, so help us break down. Now we're gonna write down 5 things that have to happen. 5 things that have to happen in order for this open house strategy to generate 3,810 leads.
What was that?
You have to get 73 leads per open house.
How many,
Or per
how many open
weekend.
houses per year?
If you do one per week, you have to get
Let's
73
break it down by
leads.
month. It just makes it easier.
Okay, so, well,
Back into
So
the
you
number
need-
instead.
It's two, you're gonna have Saturday and Sunday.
well, right, I think that's the first question is, let's keep Glenda in as our
Okay.
coaching client here.
Yes, I love that. Thank
As
you.
Rudy is picking her up as a client. Good job, Rudy.
Look
Like,
at it. He's
Rudy
already-
sees
I've already downloaded his.
Thank you.
Rudy sees opportunity everywhere.
I love
Just
that.
saying.
Our big
He's amazing. What did I tell you when I showed you
Is this-
Rudy's card?
No, I didn't see it.
I said in my office. I said I held it up. I said this is the best marketing
Yes.
person I've ever
You
seen.
did.
That's
You
what I
did say
told
that.
her.
You did say that.
You said it more than once, Rudy.
Since he was little.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first question I think we have for you as a group, we're interviewing you, is how many open houses are you willing to commit to per year?
I'm gonna break it down by the month,
Okay,
because we said that's just easier to, 381, you put 18, but we need 381 leads a month, oh no, wait, sorry,
About
18,
79 a month.
318
I mean, a
a
week.
month, right?
what was the monthly leads number?
318.
318.
318 a month, okay? So help me work you through your strategy. So how many open houses?
Well, if I'm using Rudy's thing, that wasn't my, but we can, let's do this one, because it came up too.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that I couldn't add it to mine.
Yeah, that's why
Okay.
we're doing this.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, 318 a month, you got
About 35.
So 10.
So far.
So 10 open houses a month.
Can you define
That's all
open
that.
house in this scenario? Because I know some people that throw a 2-hour open house on a Saturday. I personally try to get 6 to 8 hours in over a weekend and call it one open house.
Okay, hold on. This is a really important thing because where are we getting hung up right now? What is everybody's mind going when we're talking about this open house?
Conducting the open house.
Because they're tying it to their time. Remember our organizational model? What if it was you had to do 10 open houses a weekend? Can anybody here hold 10 open houses a weekend?
You do hour-long open houses.
If you did an hour long, that would suck. What else could you do?
Doing an hour.
Get somebody else to do them for
Have
you.
other people hold them. It's a business, guys. If you have a muffin shop, you're not on the corner waving the sign and then bringing the customers
And
into the
baking
muffin
the
shop
muffins.
and then running in the back and baking the muffins and then decorating the
Doing
muffins.
the accounting.
Well, you gotta take the money. You're not doing all of it.
So you're not just having anyone hold that open house, that's gotta be someone on your staff. If you're gonna capture the leads that came from the.
It depends on your business model.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on your business model. But here's the point I want to make. It doesn't have to be you. In fact, if you are the answer, it's the wrong answer. Because anytime you're the stake in the business model, you are limiting your business. You're literally the lid on your business. Do you get that? Like you can't be the lid.
You can't scale yourself.
You know another reason why you can't be the lid? Who is gonna follow you? What are talented people gonna follow?
A system that works.
A system that grows, that creates opportunity for them. If you're the lid, there's nowhere for them to grow. So what do? They leave and do what?
Start their own thing.
And become your competitor. As they should.
Right.
If you can't run a scalable business at a high level, your talented people should leave and show you how to do it. And I have learned that lesson. I have learned that lesson a couple times. Some of our biggest competitors used to work for me. Yay! And what did I fail to do? create and grow the opportunity beyond me so they have room to grow within me, right?
Nice.
With room by organization.
Yep.
Okay, so now, stop thinking about how many open houses you need to hold. And think about how many open houses does the business, separate entity of you, need to hold each month or week in order to generate 3,800 leads a month.
So 10 open houses a month.
10 a month, perfect. Do you guys all follow that?
Yeah.
Okay, now, how many people do we need to get to each open house? This is where this plays in.
Based on 10 a month, I guess
32.
7.5.
32.
What would be
Well, we're looking
For
at
318 divided by 10?
Yeah.
About 32.
32.
Really.
32 people.
If that's your only model, yeah. This is your only pillar?
Every pillar has to support the main goal,
Okay, gotcha.
right? Redundancy. Think of the Golden Gate Bridge. Is there redundancy in the Golden Gate Bridge? Multiple redundancies inside that bridge. So it's going to support itself no matter if one fails, two fails, the third will support it enough to get the traffic off the bridge. Let's just hope. Okay, so one thing we need 10 a month, we need to have 10 people to each, whoops, to each open house. Okay, so what are some ways to make sure, because if we're just putting a sign in the front yard, are we gonna get 32 people? No way. If we just advertise it on Zillow, are we gonna get 32 people? So what are some things that we can do to ensure we're getting 32 people to 10 open houses a month?
Circle
Oh, I
prospect.
love that. Circle. You say prospecting meaning door knock?
Yeah.
Okay, let me rephrase. I just made a mistake in my language. What are some things the business needs to do to ensure you're getting 32 people to each open house? Because I said, what do you need to
Call
do?
Circle
and knock.
prospect.
Call and knock.
Call and I say before and after
Social
as well.
media.
Call, knock.
Why 200 signs?
D, social media,
I do like 30 signs.
and
Do
We do
about
about
40.
25.
Plant signs.
25 to 30 signs.
Plant. You have to plant them too.
What does that mean?
Somebody has to go out, put them in and take them out.
Sure. But we're just not in your garage. I'll put not, and
No, I mean, a lot of people think that that's no big deal, but.
Oh, it's a lot of
plant
work.
those- Yeah, and then to pick them up and
Gotta look
what the rules are
intersection.
and which cities will let you and which ones won't, blah, blah.
let's get in the
As
weeds
far as
over
that,
here.
you ask for forgiveness instead of permission.
Okay, 2.
I got ticketed.
Abancos.
You're killing me over there. Killing me, Kevin.
Sorry.
Okay, so what's a second
Wait,
strategy?
you're not done with that one yet. We
We're
need to
not.
sign in and follow up, right?
Oh yeah, capture.
Capture and follow up.
A, B, C, D, C. A, B, C, D, E, F. Capture
Follow up.
system. Well, we're gonna assume for now that our follow-up systems are gonna fall under our organizational model, because that's how things are being done, is our org model, okay? Okay, so strategy number 2, that will lead to 3,810 appointments or leads.
Mail or mailing.
Direct mail? Okay, so this is important, right? So direct mail, and again, when we look at direct mail conversion, it's super low, but the type of direct mail you're doing is going to dictate your conversion. So what is the conversion ratio if I'm just mailing into a neighborhood, like I'm the local real estate agent, look at me, what's the conversion ratio? Does anybody know?
0.25%, quarter of a percent.
That's pretty low. Yeah, 0.25%. You said 1%. 2% is good.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
That's the best you can do.
It's like roughly around 0.5 to 1.25, depending on your frequency. However, Sophia, what's our conversion on our mailers right now? Do you remember?
As far as leads?
To address. mailer to address, leads to address. What are we getting? So we're mailing to, how many addresses are we mailing to right now?
400 at least.
400. How many leads are we at? I thought we had 3.
Oh, that's our, we've got 3 leads from that, yeah.
Yeah, so from that mailing,
So from that mailing, okay, so let's see, the first 150, we got 3, so we're probably,
3 leads on 150 addresses.
Yeah,
That's mind-boggling good.
yeah.
5%.
Mind-boggling good.
And then,
Message.
yeah, and we just keep adding to that every week.
Yeah, so it's an 8-piece marketing message to the same address of high-intent leads. These are people in foreclosure, and the message is what to do when you're in foreclosure. And it's an 8-piece marketing message is educating them each week on the challenges that they're facing and offering for us to help them.
8x8 campaign.
It's an 8x8 campaign. Yeah.
So what you're doing is you're adding value to them, making them call you.
Well, yes, we're adding value, and we're showing them that we're knowledgeable and that
We're compassionate.
compassionate. Like we've been in your situation. We understand. We're like you. We can help you. So it's the messaging, but it's also the target demographic and then the process that's dictating the conversion. So if we were just mailing 1,000 people, I'm a real estate agent, the conversion is gonna be 0.5%.
And consistency, because you're there 8 weeks in a row.
8 weeks in a row.
Solid message.
To a high intent lead, right? Now our conversion for those 3 leads hasn't converted to appointments yet. However, we can scale literally nationally, right? And even if the conversion is 1 in 10, that is a multi-million-dollar business right there. That business could generate $3 million a year, all day long, with literally 2 employees. Does that make sense? Okay. So direct mail,
Campaign, you should say. What's that about?
campaign. Well,
To be a plan.
oh, got it. So your campaign, and you don't have to share the specific details, but
I don't know if I don't mind.
okay.
There's enough
Well, I don't
for
know how
everyone.
open you are. Like some people are like,
Not for everyone.
I
My
love it.
campaign is handwritten, like really nice invitations, nice paper, handwritten on the outside, to have lunch with me at the Highland City Club.
I think that's huge because everybody loves a handwritten card. No matter who you are, when you get that in the mail, you're like, who's writing me a letter?
And it speaks to like, when we're doing any kind of campaign, you want it to feel good to you as a salesperson, and I love personable, and I love having lunch with people, and I
Ours are
just
handwritten.
love it.
that's the challenge that we run into with ours is scaling, is they're all handwritten. They're all of our stuff. It's so brutal. Heather was up till 11 o'clock last
I
night.
thought we're not
She's
getting
stressed
into
out
the
about
weeds.
that.
It's so funny.
I
I'm
thought we're
sorry,
not
yeah.
getting into the weeds.
Okay.
Why don't you hire a high school
Yeah.
who was Mexican, right?
Well, there's AI
How
that
many
I
of those are there?
Okay, so have you met teenagers? Yeah.
I
Okay,
haven't
so
learned how to write in cursive anymore.
here's the key
There
to
are
this.
companies that do
Here's the secret to this, though. Written invitations, not to meet with her per se, because they don't know her. What is the opportunity for this luxury seller? Because these are 2 million and higher, right? That's one piece is 2 million and higher. What'd you say?
I said lunch. You get lunch.
But hey,
exclusive
you're rich.
club.
You want to come to my lunch? It's exclusivity of the private club. This is a private club in Boulder, members only. It's well known. She's a member. You want to come have lunch with me? What's that?
It's actually not.
It's not well known. Yeah, that's
That
true. I
makes it
never
even
heard.
more exclusive.
Yeah, that's right. It's a secret.
It is.
It's like a
Of the
People
wealthy.
don't know about it. It's
Honestly, the first time I went there, I was like, I'm walking into a cult right now. This is a cool place. They're all in robes. They're all
Lots of candles.
Candles everywhere.
Dark.
Yeah, they're like,
What's that on Thursdays?
I was just gonna say, it sounds like a good Friday night, but I'll.
eat the simple green. What was that?
Nine
Okay.
tomorrow.
Southern green, yeah.
Soylent Green. Eat the green.
Drink
Okay.
Kool-Aid.
What time is it? How are we doing?
11:20.
We have hours.
I got 10 minutes.
We got 10 minutes.
We
Yeah.
have
I
like 3
10 minutes.
hours.
Yeah, all in one.
We're gonna be done.
No.
Okay, so invitation, lunch invite, and then what else? Because that's not all.
Like the message on, are you wanting to talk about the message on the, besides a private club?
Because that was one
Oh.
invite, because there's more
Which
to it.
ties us into the third pillar, the
Oh.
events.
Yes,
So-
third. Dang, I
We
ran
go
out
on
of
the
room.
other side.
Yeah, just go on the other side.
I want, okay,
Oh.
yeah, we'll go
We
through
can
three. Yeah, three.
You can still see it.
Events. Yeah, you're making sure I,
Oh.
yeah.
So,
Okay,
so C, so that makes sense, will the.
invite,
The,
So, but if you were to do that, just
Yeah.
what you said was each of these has to stand on their own, so that's
Yeah.
not number 3, if it's tied to number 2, is it?
well, I think it is separate,
Yeah.
but we've not done here to get to here.
Yeah.
So, I guess how many invitations and let's lay out
let's finish the
yeah, let's finish
campaign.
this.
So there's the lunch invites, but then the larger container around that, or context to, so they're getting that mailer, but they're also getting the same look with the paper and the da-da-da-da-da for the series of educational related, like investor, 1031 exchange, short sales, blah, 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 events that I'll host at the Highland City Club. So they can RSVP on those. So
Yeah.
three of those a month.
So 3 times a month, or three classes a month. So those are over here because it's a different.
Yep,
Yep, because the events and lunches
Yeah,
are its
yeah.
own strategy.
Yeah.
Because
that's
it's
true, yeah.
right. So
Yeah,
then,
because I'm gonna have the listing, I'm having to share, we're having lunch, and when I'm getting their information, I'm filling out the listing contract.
okay, so anytime somebody shows up to an event, they are a lead, right? They show up to an event, they're a lead, okay? Even if you don't capture them, they're still a lead. Just to be clear, if somebody shows up to your open house and you don't get their name and email and whatever, they're still a lead. You still have an opportunity to create influence over them. Now, you don't have an opportunity to follow up with them. Your marketing plan or your follow-up plan is going to be fractured. It's still a lead. It's just going to be really freaking hard to convert. Okay? So how many people need to show up if you're doing 3 classes a month? How many people need to show up to generate 3,810 leads
106.
103.
to each class or each
106.
month?
Okay.
106.
106.
I can't have that many people in a class.
Okay, so
If you're doing
Now-
it every month, yeah, if you get the thing.
But
So-
I think our conversions are probably higher
I mean,
at that point.
absolutely.
yeah, and you could also have people register as a lead and not show, and that would still be a lead.
So you need 106
Also, there's 3
registrations.
classes a month, so the 106 will be divided by 3, right?
No,
Yeah.
because it's 318 divided by 3.
Right.
If that's a whole
Oh,
strategy,
okay, so
So if you do 3 a month, you need 106
106 each.
For each
I
class.
can't.
registrations per
Too
month.
many.
But how many of those are going to
Too
show up?
many.
30%, I mean? 30%?
I can't not know how many people, we can't, I can't,
Yeah.
it's a small club, I can't do that. But I'm still,
Well, here's the thing though, you could start this strategy and at some point your classes outgrow the club, you move to a different venue.
no.
however, she could, if she insists on that
Limiting
strategy, then she needs to
No,
look
it's
at
not.
what it needs to produce.
No,
It
it's
needs to produce,
It wouldn't
make
feel very
worth the
exclusive.
investment, the
Yeah.
number of leads necessary, whether or not she need, for the number of people she gets.
Let's back up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because
It's her plan, let her have her plan.
well, there's an intimacy and a personability of the club and the small size of the classes.
Yeah,
So if I could say max 35 people, this goes back to the open houses, the room that I know that I want to use, I could fit 35 people in comfortably, then I would then have to increase the number of classes to 10 classes a month instead of 3.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't wanna do a huge room of hundreds, that's just, I'm not saying you can't capture leads that way, but that's not my.
So
business.
one thing I'll challenge you on though is when we met, I'm in your face. When we met, one of the things that you said was, because there's another strategy that we missed that we didn't talk about, which was you wanted to do luxury short sales. So that's another strategy that's not listed on here. And you also said you were open to practicing across the Front Range, where if you're only inviting people to one club in Boulder, you're not going to be able to practice across the Front Range. So that's going to limit. So the club is limiting your potential.
I have to start somewhere though.
That's what I said, and you said no. I'm saying you could start here and then open it up to other venues later.
Yeah, but I never wanna do 106 people in one room, because
Got it.
that's not the feel
Oh.
that I'm going for.
Okay, so we're gonna change this.
Because face time is so important, and my conversion rate is super high if I can just be
That's
face to face.
So yeah, what you're.
The law of marketing, I think there's some, what I want to say, a failed assumption in here.
What's that?
Different strategies get different results.
Yes.
So your percentage of closing on direct mail and getting a lead that's going to convert compared to an event is dramatically different.
Absolutely.
And so you can't just keep, I don't think it's right to just keep processing through with the same conversion rate. Your conversion rates are bound to be different.
Which is.
If I get
exactly.
somebody refer a client to me and they say, you have to use Kevin, then my conversion rate is 9 out of 10.
Right.
And if somebody says, oh, you should check these 18 realtors or these 225 realtors at Keller Williams Advantage, my odds are 1 in 1,000.
Yep.
Right? So I think that's what's important about the event. When you're getting that intimate, you're now dealing with maybe core group that absolutely is going to buy something or sell
So
something.
to your point though, Kevin, until you have the leads, you don't have that problem. Until you are generating the amount of leads, that problem doesn't matter. Because you're focused on, oh, what about your conversion rate to these levels? That'll come, because everybody's conversion is going to be different anyways.
Sure.
So
Right?
2 classes a week.
2 classes a week. I put 10 a month.
2 classes.
Should I just say 2 a week? Okay, 2 classes a
So
week.
8 classes a month.
To the same point Kevin's making,
No, there's
if you have an event with 35 wealthy people that are interested in investing into property in one room with somebody who's a good salesperson, you're gonna have a very high rate. You might walk out of that room with 10 deals instead of 1,000 mailers
deals.
getting you 10 deals.
Yeah.
Right? So you can get 10 deals in one night versus 12 months of running mailers.
Well, to that point, Sean, when you were a bold coach, how many people who were sent to first step would typically continue on and sign up for the rest?
It was, our minimum was 50% or you got called into a meeting. So our expectation was 75%.
Yeah.
75% of the room.
That's a much smaller investment
Yeah.
and a much larger room, so it's just different. I think that the point that Nick and Kevin are making is valid, but it all kind of comes back to what you're saying. We have to have the people so we can see how we're converting.
You
We
can
can
feed
build
into
it.
that room.
Well, there's
Right.
one other piece that we're not talking about, which is she doesn't have to do all the classes,
Right.
right? It's like I'm here teaching the Millionaire Real Estate Agent business models that were created by Gary Keller, who used to teach it. I'm pretty sure he's not teaching it right now. However, it's probably being taught 50 times right now across the United States at the same time, right? So she doesn't have to be. She just has to create the brand, the value proposition, the standards of how these classes are held, and then she can leverage it out, right? And then it's exponential. You follow? I know. I'm not saying you have to. I'm saying that you could. Because this is a recipe. So literally, you could teach somebody this to do this in Miami. You could teach somebody to do this in Del Mar, California,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, you could teach someone to do it here,
Quality.
so they
Cherry
can
Creek.
scale here.
Yeah, I mean, as long as the quality control is there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Or then it turns into McDonald's, which you know I don't like.
I like McDonald's.
I know you
so-
do. but
What's
I
funny
like
about that is
steakhouses.
McDonald's makes billions of dollars, and so like it or not, they've
I
got
know
a really
they do,
good.
but
But
that's
she
not
doesn't
my
wanna make
style.
money like
I'd
that.
rather
That's
have the
fair.
steakhouse and have fewer steakhouses and make the same amount of money.
Well, but
That's
I
right.
think it's the same concept, because
And
if
with-
you go to Washington, you're getting a hamburger. If you go to Miami, you're getting a hamburger, and they're the same. So that's the same thing.
I think I
If you
missed the
create-
point a little bit. It's that old like Walmart versus Nordstrom's, right? Like great models for both. You want to be Nordstrom's, not Walmart.
And both of them
Right.
make millions.
They both make tons of
Exactly,
money.
Exactly.
You
It's not like one's
Nordstrom.
making money and the other
Yeah,
is
so
not.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not
Yeah,
saying
quality.
McDonald's isn't bad.
Okay, so hold on. So direct mail
It's not my
campaign.
thing.
I think here's the last piece that we have to tie together is how many invitations and lunch or invitations to lunch and to classes do we need to mail in order to fill 35 people to each class? That's the next metric.
right.
This is a specific target, right? Like a specific number of houses. So how many?
Yeah. That's the next metric. So what do we think? So what is your expectation? And to be clear, nobody's ever done this before. So this is an educated guess. It's not, we're gonna test
That's
it
part of building the.
and then measure it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna test it, measure it, test it, and measure it. So what is a good educated guess on how many invitations to lunch? Well, first off, how many invitations to lunch are gonna convert to a lunch?
I don't know.
What? Take a guess.
All of them.
That would actually be bad. Like all would actually be bad. Do you think?
If I can close them all.
Do you think it's like 1 in 10, 1 in 25?
I feel like I don't know the metrics on this. To your point,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would give it about
Yeah, if you
20,
go to
30%.
20, 30%. So 3 out of 10.
2 out of 10, I think.
2 out of 10.
20%.
Okay. So then over here, invitations we need.
I mean, and that's gonna depend on, not to get in the weeds, but of course, the next step there is the messaging and invitations, what gets and what doesn't.
Well, first off, before we get there, because that again changes. That's always going to change. Your
Yeah.
marketing message is always going to change. You're never going to stay because it works until it stops working.
Market in the moment.
Yeah, it works until everybody does it, then it stops working. How many lunches can you do a month?
There's 5 days, they're only open Monday through Friday, so
25? 20?
5, 10, 15, 20, 25.
How many are you willing to commit to?
On to 25, you should always have lunch.
25 lunches a month. Okay. Now over here, so how many invitations based on Rudy's
No,
expectation?
25 lunches a week. No, a month. That's
A
not
month.
very many, okay.
Yeah. So how many invitations do we need to mail in order to make sure we're booked for 25 lunches? Based on, you said,
About 20%. So
So
2 out of 10.
we'll multiply that
So
by 25.
like about
250.
500.
About 500.
500. No, that's not right. That's not right.
No.
It's like 150. 25 times 5.
25 times 5, 125. 125.
125, thank you.
You thought it was 150. None of us in this
125.
room can do math. Including me.
A month. Okay. 125 mailers a month. And you can start that this week. Like that's easy. Like that is go to the store, buy this stuff, and start printing mailer. You what?
Well, I can find the right paper and design it. Get the message and create the program that we talked about. I need to have a program,
Okay.
right, for the branding.
Okay, so how many mailers to the series of classes in order to get 35 people to a class? Or what is our 35 times 2 classes a week? So 70 times, what was this number?
For 70 of those.
Oh, this was the 318. So
It was
how many
106.
mailers?
It was 106. She said, I only want 35.
Well, what we did though is we increased the class number.
So 10. So put 10 down instead of 2 then. Remember
10.
we said 10 classes a month now?
10 a month.
Oh yeah, so you put 2 a week. Yeah, okay.
That's all you.
No, like, I can't read your writing.
That's fair. Okay, so in order to get 318 people to classes, what's our conversion you think on a series? And again, it's a series that builds on itself, so likely it's gonna start out thin and then get more and more if it's marketed to correctly. So what would be a fair expectation on monthly mailers to get people to classes? What would be a fair expectation? How many mailers?
How many mailers to get? What's the result?
People to a class. So it's a series of investment, 1031, and what was the third category? Sure. Oh,
Short sales, 1031 exchange, investment.
Let's just use 1%. I think we agreed that was a.
Yeah,
I think this is a tighter demographic.
You're starting to narrow it down.
Yeah. 1%'s for like.
So 2%.
What did you say you got? Use that as an example. You're hitting a target demographic. You got 3 off 150.
It's true.
5%.
With an
1
8
off
by
of
8.
every 50. That's 2%.
The only thing about ours that's different is our client has a high intent because they're facing foreclosure and our message is foreclosure. If these people were like, I want to invest, and we're sending them an 8 by 8 about investing, I think it would be similar.
Yeah, what wealthy person doesn't want to know more ways to invest?
Exactly.
I like how you think.
Just
I
do the
would
same,
say,
just for the sake of
okay,
doing the math.
what's the
2% is your 2% is your result on 3 and 150.
3 and 150 is 2%?
Yep.
Is it? Oh,
Let's be conservative or
okay,
something.
2%. So what is
Be conservative.
what is 318 divided by 2%? That'll give us our gross number.
6 point something. So
6.36, like 6.
No, it should be a bigger number. It should be like 6,000 or something.
What's the number?
318 divided by 0.02.
Divided for 2%.
15,900.
15,900 mailers a month.
A month?
Mhm.
But can I ask is new mailers?
No, I would say that it could be a consistent mailer to the same demographic
Yeah,
because
I don't wanna keep just bringing, I'd rather
Yeah.
farm people already.
yeah, no, this is to your demographic.
Right.
Every time you push out 16,000 mailers, 318 are going to respond in some way. Now, here's the cool thing.
That's per month?
Yeah.
That's per month. To make $1 million a year.
Net.
To net.
Net a million.
So this is not talking specifically to this 100 houses, right? Like we're talking about like.
Yeah, just like
Homes, not-
Homes on the
16
front range over 2 million.
Okay.
That's basically.
So at this point, you're not necessarily focusing on these 300 houses.
No.
Yeah.
16,000.
Because like for 15,000, it's like.
That's a lot of
like
money too.
Way above that area. 'Cause
No.
how many times are you gonna?
No, think about this. Like Arvada is 120,000.
Well, yeah, but she's talking about
population.
that club is in Boulder.
Right.
Yeah, Boulder is 130,000 in population. There's probably 60,000 homes in Boulder. There's plenty.
But
There's a
how
lot
many
of
are
shit.
there?
How many
that
are
are
out there? Yeah.
That's my
2
question.
million in Boulder.
A $2 million home in Boulder is kind of shitty.
That's right.
They're not anything
We sold a tri-level there earlier this year. Wait, it was last year,
They're
last
not
summer.
that nice.
1.175 for a 70s tri-level. So
Yeah.
there's
Is that
plenty of
about
demographic there.
1,600 square feet.
And the other thing is
I
again,
didn't think it
she
was that
could
big.
easily expand south into North Jefferson County. She could expand into
Niwot.
Longmont,
Cherry
Niwot.
Creek, Cherry Mills.
Yeah. Well, you'd have to probably pick a new club location.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay, so this is it,
I don't
guys.
know, or they could come to me.
Yeah, so this is your lead gen model. Done. We just did the lead gen model. Now, is this possible?
Yes.
Yeah. Can anybody do this? Yeah. It doesn't mean you're going out tomorrow and striking a check for 15,000. You might start with 1,000.
Right.
And then you get a result, and then you reinvest into your marketing, what is your marketing budget? What percentage of your gross revenue, which was 1.49 million, what percentage of your gross revenue should be your marketing budget?
I know we started 10%, I think it's.
So what did we say? We already went.
It's, in the MREA, it's 9%. I always use 10 because it's an easier number. In the millionaire real estate agents, 9% should be your marketing.
9% of your gross.
Of your gross revenue. Now, that being said, if you want to make $1 million, you're probably going to have to front load that.
Right. It might be 25% first.
It might be 25% because you're front loading to get to 1.49 million to build the business up.
I have a question.
Yes.
What are we defining as leads?
Anybody, so we're moving from not met, somebody you've never talked to somebody that has either responded, either they came to your website and submitted their name, they came to your event, they called you, they texted you, so now they've somehow had a conversation with you.
Would it be fair to say anybody with a moderate level of interest that made it into your database?
They reached out to you though, or you met them at an open house.
Right, but
Yeah.
that, if they reached out to you or you met them at an open house, by
Yeah.
the time you put them into your database because they're a potential,
Yeah.
that would be considered a lead.
In a perfect world is if they got a mailer from you with your picture and your name on it, they would go, oh, I know who that is. I know how I connected with that person.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Or you would
Like on
tell you.
our mailers, we were running just Sophia's photo on it for a long time. But then we realized we go on a lot of appointments together, so now we had to add my photos, so when I show up, they're not like, who the hell are you? Right? But it's, if they get a mailer from us, and then they respond, and then we show up, they would know who we are, right? Because they're, you know, they know us.
And you, Sean, you brought up a great marketing strategy when we were talking about I want to do these events, and I, have invested in this club. But Sean, you brought up the idea of you could do things like this at private homes,
Yeah.
at listings. Because you've done that.
Yeah.
So like you don't need to be part of the club.
Well,
Yeah.
there's another big variable at play here, which is this is assuming starting from scratch. If you're a year into this program, people are going to have way more recognition from your mailer. They might have met with you twice by now, and when they see the mailer, it's like, oh, there's that lady again.
But what's on the series this month? Maybe there's something.
It feels like there's like compounding interest
Absolutely.
on your efforts. So in the
Yes.
beginning, it's going to be harder than it will be. And what realtor do you know that's still in the business that isn't doing better than they were 5 years ago?
There's a lot.
I don't know. Everybody I know.
It's a poor time to ask that question.
Everybody I know that's put in the effort.
There's a reason we're teaching this, Nick.
Everybody I know that's put in the effort consistently is
Keep
doing a
saying
lot better than they
let's
were
put
in
in
year
the
1 or
effort.
year 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
here's your worksheets, guys. So this one right here is the economic worksheet. This is the first exercise we went through was the economic. And then on the back is your marketing budget exercise, okay? And then here is this is all your marketing opportunities that you can come up with, and then what your expected cost is and what your expected return is. So you're thinking about how much am I spending? This is that budget. This will go into your budget exercise, which will be like red light, green light. So example is in our budget exercise, if you spend if you spend, let's say $5,000 marketing to 6,000 homes or 7,000 homes, whatever the number is, and you're not getting the result that you think you're getting, then we red light it. And what that means, we stop it, we pause it, we make adjustments before we start up again. Well, how do we determine when we red light, green light? That's this exercise.
Ah, cool.
Because we set out expectations for every dollar we're spending, and then we measure those expectations. We go back to our worksheet and we go, what's the math on that? And then the last piece is this exercise that we just walked through, which is what is our goal? What are the 3 strategies, and what are the activities that go to relate to that goal? Okay? So it's front and back, there's only 2 pages. So feel free to grab those and work on that for our next class.
I have a
Or our
question.
next workshop.
Is this sort of thing available on the computer?
Do you have
Yes.
a fillable PDF?
There is literally an Excel spreadsheet that's like this big and has this many layers that does all this.
Where?
You have to sign up first.
That's the answer I want to hear. Yeah, get in there. I want her here.
All right.
I gave that to you.
That was awesome. I'm like,
Gave that
bump,
to you, Sean.
set, spike. Yes,
So
we
you
have.
have it on.
No, we literally have. That's
Awesome.
it's intense.
So exciting.
That's great.
Any questions?
When I was-
What's that?
So do you have another class to get ready for? We do.